All right, we are back after a crushing loss. Completely dead on the inside. Almost nothing to give right now. And Troy doesn't get us up at all for Saturday. But, Coop, you were in Iowa City. You watched it live. You might be banned from Cyhawk games moving forward inside of Kinnick Stadium.
It is fine with me. That is totally fine with me, to be honest with you, because fun game, nice to be back. Saw a lot of familiar faces, great people. Saw the boys. Iowa City's changed. I feel old as fart. I stayed for the first half of the game. Me and Daphne sat in the stadium for the first half. Met up with Easley, got a beer at halftime. Then it was like me, Dom, Abe, Nico, and Kerner. And we went to watch the rest of the game at DC's, which was packed. And it was legit half Iowa State, half Iowa. I forgot how unfun it is to be around people who are cheering against you and then having their team win on a last-second field goal. It was absolute freaking mayhem. I've never seen a bar like that before. I've never been in a bar against a rival team when they win, especially when it's their fucking Super Bowl. Sorry, Brady. I know we talked about this. He said it's his Super Bowl. It is always Iowa State's Super Bowl. Yeah. I'm not going to get too deep now. I was going to say.
All right, explain DC's, because that is a beautiful thought.
It was nuts. So we're watching it. Line up for the field goal. Pretty quiet. They kick the field goal. And if you've been in DC's, you walk into the right, there's a staircase that goes up. It's all open concept on the upstairs. You can see down to the downstairs. It just surrounds up top. But like you can go up there and drink and like look down and look at the TVs. When the field goal was made, there was probably 50 drinks thrown from the upstairs of DC's down to into the middle of like the pit where everyone's sitting. And we were outside of it, thank God. So we were just like flies in the wall. Drinks getting thrown at people. Iowa State fans losing their minds. I've never seen that before in my life. You would have thought that they were Cubs fans after they hit the World Series. Like, it was literally like that. Some kid stands on the table, dumps a pint of beer on his head. Drinks continue to be thrown. Ice cubes are being thrown, J-Bo style. Cops come in, arrest people. It was insane. It was crazy.
Gosh, that's beautiful. I heard that's what it was like during Blackhawks and Cubs.
I'm sure
when they won their titles. That's how that I've only heard stories of DC's how people throw their steins off the top balcony.
See, like that would hurt someone pretty bad. I don't think it was
steins. That would be a little painful, but
I think it was
what a fun bar.
Yeah, it made me want to be an Iowa State fan for the day just to like have some fun, because it was like, yeah, everyone was in the dumps. It was pretty shitty.
Yeah,
and the lines were out the ass. I've never seen lines in Iowa City like that. But
that's sad. Every year it gets bigger. I don't know, the school's growing or what.
I mean, we're about to be the best, according to Barstool, the best college campus for game days.
They're on to something. Did you go to any of the new bars?
I did not, but I've been to them. I've been to Reunion. Fun. It was literally like the best thing about it was, so there's a new bar called Stuffed Owl. It's a martini bar. Cool. It's all right. Good martinis. We went to DC's to watch that game. Got a wristband. It was good for the whole night. Later in that night, the cover was $60 to get into DC's. Summit, to watch the game, this is scummy. This is how scummy Summit is. To watch the game, they give you a wristband. After the game, they made you take the wristband off and wait to get a new wristband at night. So you couldn't come back in. So you had to pay cover again. Fucking Brad scheming. Unbelievable. Like
every time.
it's just crazy. But yeah,
You can't put anything past him. Also, to preface, all of our football talk is with Brady Ross, hour-long interview. It's awesome. We give our frustrations on the game. This is just a little banter beforehand. If you want to skip ahead, skip ahead. But yeah, we're in shambles. We're in shambles. Sad life. We didn't score from the 3-yard line twice.
Yep, and you will hear about that plenty of times in the interview.
Yes, more than you can count.
Big talking point, which rightly should be.
Yeah. Also, throw across your body. That was tough.
Yeah, don't get me started. I could.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll make it sweet, nice and short because we had a nice long interview with Brady Ross. And I think Jackson is flu game. This is Jack's flu game for the pod today. So he's ripping it. And we're both tired from the weekend. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I got, really. Just it was a nuts.
I had a big weekend. NFL Hawks, seeing Lindy live Sunday. The GOAT.
The GOAT.
I
will say this. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
No matter what, Iowa City is a shit. Always will be.
Iowa City's awesome.
Can't wait for our live show. It's going to be a riot. Actually, yeah, I did get recognized by some dude.
Eli.
Big fan of the pod. So shout out Eli. Saw him on our way walking to the Vine. Got a picture with him with Nico and Kerner. Great dude. But yeah, we love it. We're excited to come in Wisconsin week and pot it up. But no matter what, even if we look like shit this game, we will be back watching the game next week because we are fans. We love our Hawks.
We will be back. Yeah, we should just whomp Troy. I don't know. We got to tune up. Here's my theory on Ohio State. I think we got really good players who want to win this year really badly on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know. I could see him playing Ohio State tighter as a must-win game now. So hearts on the line. Hungry dogs run faster. That's my dumb brain theory on it.
I like it.
So that game's in the cards. Gotta win out. Can't lose to that dog shit program, Iowa State. They're pathetic. They had 3 linebackers out. Matt Campbell's a fraud. They can't even sniff 10 wins if they tried. So, yeah, I mean, that game hurts us every year. I don't care what all those people on their side of the fan base are saying about how they were like our highest FPI ranked team on our schedule. That's all bogus. You beat up on a couple bad Big 12 teams and they overrank them. Same thing in basketball. Big 12's always overrated. So, I mean, that they're just not as good as they say they are. They think they are. That was a bad loss for us. Yeah, I'm not an Iowa State guy at all. It sucked. Should have won that ball game. Did everything to lose it.
And fuck you, Trent.
Yeah, Trent was I got to give him credit on this. We watched the game together. And I literally looked at him when Cade threw that pick, and I was like, holy shit, you're going to win. I was like, yeah, it's that simple. Like, number one, you can't turn the ball over. It was like perfect example of what you can't do is turn the ball over. Bears. We had no reason to win that ball game. Caleb has 0 picks. Will Levis throws the late pick 6. Bears win. You got to take care of the football. Cade throws 2 picks, has 3 completions in the second half. You're probably not going to win the ball game. Incredible how much of a freak Caleb Johnson is, best running back in the country. Run the football. Run the football with Caleb.
Simple.
It's that simple. He should have the ball in his hands at all times. The guy's incredible. He's built. He looks like Derrick Henry compared to some of these guys out there. tractor Cedo season for him. But yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was tough watching it. Trent, got to give him credit. He didn't say a damn word until the ball went through. And then he just took a picture flicking me off. I was just miserable.
Yeah, Trent's a good sport. I'll give him that. He's not a big fan. I respect it. But yeah. Hey, we move on. We kicked Troy's ass. Gosh, I hope we kicked Troy's ass. There's a buddy I worked with for my last job who went to Troy. I'm sure I'll be getting a text from him this week. And I hope we steamroll him. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. We're miserable. Win out. That's the only positive. You have the chance to win out. We're not out of it yet. But we'll get to the full game breakdown. Brady Ross, go beat Troy. Man, if we lose to Troy, just we'll see you next week. But on to the next one. But Iowa State breakdown here.
If we wait before you do it, I'll put this out there. If we lose to Troy, I will cheer for Iowa State the rest of the season. I will.
Yes.
That's how confident I am that we are going to win. Like that we're going to steamroll them. If we somehow lose to Troy, and Trent, if you're listening to this, you can hold my word to it. I will go to the bar and watch Iowa State games with you this year and wear Iowa State gear if we lose to Troy. We better freaking win. Like it's simple as that. It's a must win.
You know what? I'll eat poop. I will eat poop. I will. If we lose to Troy next week on the pod.
Troy on the pod. Forrester will eat Trent's poop, and then I will wear Trent's Iowa State jersey
on the pod. If we lose to Troy, that's on the pod. Yes, all right.
And then I'll run routes against Pat.
This is good. Last thing, yes, we gotta make that happen. Run routes against Pat. It was funny after we lost. Pat the bartender tried making him feel better, and he just got so upset. He just reamed her.
What did the bartender say?
She's like, at least we can agree Brian Ferentz was bad. And he was like, you don't say that. Like, just went off about Iowa. It was awesome. Anyways, went a trip to Nashville, Tin Roof. You can go watch the game at Tin Roof Chicago. Features Iowa alumni ownership. You can enter a raffle during the first 3.5 games to win a trip to Nashville for you and a guest, airfare, hotel, Tin Roof gift card, in a reserve table at Tin Roof Lower Broadway on October 19th. For the watch party, must be present to enter and win, but no purchase necessary. Great time. Nashville's a great city. Highly recommend. Good place to watch an Iowa game. That Tin Roof is awesome. Here's Brady Ross. All right, we have the legendary Brady Ross, recurring guest. I think this is third or fourth time on.
Is it really?
Yearly edition, Brady Ross style.
Mr. Samp himself.
I believe 3. Man, 4 would shock me, but yeah, it's been a while. I know that. We were talking before we went live how long it's been since we were in Iowa City. Guys are getting drafted that weren't even there when Max graduated.
Yeah, it's
so I guess over the years maybe it has been 4.
Oh, dude, you didn't by chance go out that night, did you?
What night?
The night after the game?
The Iowa State game?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, the lines to get into the bars now I have never, in Chicago, any place I've ever been to in my life, I've never seen that before. The line to get into Brothers, the line ended inside the Graduate.
Dude, I mean, I had very little interest going to Brothers when I was a spry young chicken at Iowa. I'm sure as hell not going to Brothers at 28 years old on a Saturday night.
I went to DC's. I'm not gonna lie. I was there basically the whole weekend. At one point, they were charging $60 cover.
That's what you got to do if the lines are that long. I mean, crank it up till people stop coming, I guess.
It was insane. But yeah, hey, what a weekend. We got shit on.
We
It was
got
bad.
Literally, they shit on our chest. They shit on our souk. They souk. So fucking bad. I mean, we just looked like shit.
I mean, it was just the way it happened, I think, and it's surreal. Like, it didn't even feel like, I don't know.
Hey, before we get into the game, Jack, you were talking about earlier, because I really haven't looked at any of the stuff on like social media about like the pressers and everything. Tell them what you were saying, or just explain what you've been seeing in terms of what's been said after the game. I've also, before you say this, actually, I'll say it. The fact that Cade didn't do media is pussy shit. Like, do it. You're getting paid $500K. Just talk. That's the least you could do as a leader on the team is talk to the media.
You know what I've noticed already since the longer you've been out, Max, the more plain you're speaking about now that you don't know any of these guys. Because if that was Petrus, it would have been, fuck you if you wanted to listen to him, like, answer questions. Anyway, I made that observation, so I had to point it out.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
If this were Petrus, we'd be spinning it like he had the best game of his life right now. But
dude, like it's more.
Cade is. I mean, he's. I want him in the portal like Sunday morning. I wanted him in the portal. That's all I wanted to wake up to, and I didn't see it. So I'm pissed.
Unreal. It is easier.
Get him out of here. Cut his money supply. Give him a shopping cart to haul his luggage out of Iowa City. Get him out.
How much do they pay him? Is that public knowledge or no?
It's
I think
between $600K per year to $750, and he might have another year tabbed on. So he could walk away with a couple mil in his pocket.
Yeah.
A couple mil to throw. 18 of 22 passes, 10 yards behind the receiver.
Here's the thing, too. I want to preface this. If you're getting paid money, you're not a student athlete anymore. This is your job. He's probably not going to class. That's legit money. It's coming I'm a swarm donor. I don't know how much we got going there, but it's like you got to face the media, face the noise. You're getting paid to do it now. It's like you're an NFL player basically with that amount of money. He threw for under 100 yards.
They should have fined him.
But what are you? Where were you were gonna tell me what you were hearing or what?
Oh yeah, the KF quote today. He said how Cade needs time to figure it out. Here's my kind of question to you. It's college. How much time do you have? It feels like one loss, and you could be last year we're out of playoff discussion, no doubt. This year, it's like we probably got to run the table to be in the college football playoff discussion.
I think
what's a window look like, and how much time should a quarterback have now to learn an offense?
Well, before you answer this, also a quarterback who's in his 5th year, 6th year.
Well, and the thing is, like, that's a thing. That's coach speak. That's just. I'm going to get asked these questions. What should I say that doesn't piss Cade off? That probably will piss the world off, but to hell with the world. I have to answer these questions. What am I going to say that's going to make the least waves possible and like whatever? Because at the end of the day, I mean, I do think they feel he gives them the best chance to win. And I've been at Iowa where the outside wanted the backup in there, and no disrespect to our backups when I was there, but I was in practice every day, and that would not have been good. So again, I don't know. I think they think he gives them the best chance to win, and he's got to check the boxes and do these mandatory, media appearances and say something that he thinks might appease the masses without making Cade feel like he's on the hot seat or trying to stir up any drama. So it's a big nothing burger, frankly, in my eyes. But anyway, I'm not so sure, Cade's why it's never one thing why you lost the game. My mind goes to several things before it goes to him. When I'm trying to think back on how we bent over backwards to do everything in our power to lose that game. And by God, we did it.
Let me talk to me about, and me and you texted about this, the 2 goal line stands that we had, and your opinions on how it was handled.
Well, I texted, this is a fact, and Cody was very professional. Obviously, he's not going to put anything in
Myers?
text. I texted Cody Myers, and I said, hey, since apparently Iowa football doesn't have a fullback anymore, can I have my nameplates off the record board? And, he responded, whatever. But it's genuinely, like, I'm all for modernize the offense. I'm not one of those, I played fullback, so we should have a fullback in the game every play and look like it's 1843. But I know one thing. If I'm Iowa State, and I don't claim to be a genius, I don't claim to be a football guru, I'm no Bill Belichick, whatever. But if I'm Iowa State and you have the ball on the 1 yard line, with 1.5 yard line, the first one was, the second one was on the 3, and you have 4 downs to move the ball 54 inches, I am crossing my fingers and praying to the football gods that you do 3 things. 1, take that Caleb Johnson guy who's built like a Chevy Silverado and runs 24 miles an hour out of the game. Check. 2, do not line up with a fullback in the backfield. Check. 3, snap the ball to Cade and have him run backwards 5 yards before he hands it to the backup running back. Check. So we did this all the time with Stanley. We did it in the game with Cade, and Cade's done it before. Quarterback sneak. Especially now that you can aid the runner, you can push the pile from behind. That used to be illegal. You know why it was illegal? Because it was overpowered as hell. It was cheating. It was impossible to stop. For a stretch of time there, it was literally made illegal because you couldn't do anything defensively to stop it. You don't know the snap count. The offense does. And now you can line up a 260-pounder in the backfield to shove him forward as well. By the way, they lined up with a 0 nose and 2 4 techniques. No one over the guards. And we're turning around and running backwards 5 yards with no fullback in the game. I'll tell you what, if you really want to turn around and run backwards and hand it to somebody, you need a fullback in there, because what a fullback does is it allows you to pick up any leakage across the line of scrimmage, which is what we had. Orange got through there, and there was no one to clean up the mess. And it looked like 82 got beat across his face. 82 was never going to make that. 82 is never going to get there. Marshall Yanda doesn't get that guy. They're blocking 11 guys, 11 freak D1 athletes who are going to be bum rushing the gaps as hard as they can in a short yardage, gotta have it situation, is about as difficult as it sounds like it is. And, you could apply that to, both of those goal line situations. I don't quite understand why people try to make it out to be super complicated. You literally have a play that used to be illegal because it works so well. That's like in baseball. That's like if tomorrow the MLB came out and said, hey, it's now legal to take steroids and cork your bat. And you don't do it. Like, what? Anyway, I digress. But those are my thoughts on the goal line stand. Never thought I'd see a game where Iowa State lines up with a fullback in the backfield more than Iowa. But here we are.
Here we are. And it's tough to see. You know what sucks too is like the defense, what's his name? Xavier got fried on that post ball against Jalen Noel, whatever his name is. It's one play. It's going to happen in a game. Like our defense can't do everything. And if our offense is not scoring, eventually our defense is going to give up something. Like it's just normal. That's football.
That's exactly the conversation. I think you nailed it. That's exactly the conversation I had with a former starter, team captain, Leo linebacker, well before our time. I'm not going to name drop on the podcast who it was, but he was down in the dumps about the defense. We should have done that. And I told him, look, man, like we can't continue to demand perfection for 60 minutes out of our defense to beat Iowa State at home. Like we just can't. And yep, Xavier got beat, and I saw Higgins try to fall on the grenade on that one, and that's just what those guys do. But yeah, of course that can't happen. I'm sure he feels bad about it, whatever, or they get the ball with 35 seconds left and they hit a couple plays to get into range. Yeah, the defense has their hand in it, whatever. They feel sick. You're never going to play a perfect game. But yeah, I mean, let's be real. The vast majority of Iowa football losses since pick your year, 2006, has been disproportionately on the shoulders of one side of the ball, and it wasn't defense, and it hasn't been special teams either for the most part. So, at some point you got to step up and pick up a little slack, or at least not shoot yourself in the foot when you got 4 downs to go 50 inches.
Yeah, dude, it's like that's what I don't get is I don't understand how you can just. Actually, I can't because people are trying to find any way to blame the game on someone. Where they try and blame it on one player on defense and then just don't think about the whole offensive side of the ball. And just like it's just like we should have capitalized on so many plays. And it just makes no sense. I don't know how. I don't know. It's frustrating.
Is that kind of the narrative right now of people who are making noise that it's defense this, defense that? They're giving the offense a pass on this one, or is that?
No, I think
I
we're so just sick of blaming the offense that they're just trying to find a new thing to blame.
And I think that there is a significant cohort of the fan base right now that is still very much in this honeymoon phase with the new guy we got on offense. Simply, I think because they hated Brian so much and made so much noise about it, and they do not want to be wrong. Which, hey, look, I'm not, like my boy Drake Kulik, he's got the Brian Ferentz or Die t-shirt on, wearing around Iowa City. Like, I'm not, at the end of the day, we can talk about that thing until the cows come home. How much was he at fault? How much was it a perfect storm of depleted roster plus injuries, whatever? But look, you can't make $1 million a year to coordinate the worst offense in modern college football history and surprise Pikachu meme when you get fired. I mean, it is what it is. Like, that's right, wrong, and different. Whatever. I get it. And I said this after the game, and I'm all for modernizing the offense and throwing it on first, whatever people are into. But if doing what we did inside the 3 is going to become part of our identity, if calling a play action sprint rollout, throwback scheme play, scheme gadget tag on 1st and 10 from the plus 42 against an Iowa State team that hasn't been able to do anything against you offensively, up 13-0 in the second half. On first down. Like, if that's going to be part of our identity, count me out of that one too. Don't know if I'm signing. And Cade can't throw that. You got to airmail that thing out of bounds or in the dirt or whatever. Why are we calling it? What are we doing? And that's my quote on, the Charles Bukowski quote I shared on Twitter. I think really encapsulated my feelings on the whole thing was, can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be instead? And that's why it was so painful, is that those games are games that you don't lose if you're Iowa. That is literally what is in your those are the games you lose. You don't lose. And we found a way to do it, and I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, I literally had it at work. It's impossible going to work this week without just getting torched. But nobody cares about that. But you go, and it was like, I don't even know how to respond, because if we get the lead, especially up 13-0, like Iowa, we're not used to losing that, where it's the other way around. If we're down 13-0, we would be shocked if we came back and won. Our whole philosophy for the past, since Kirk's been there, is keep games close, win games in the fourth quarter. And we did that for the most part. We just hit a stomp on their throats. And you're right, with the goal line stands, they had a depleted linebacking core, and we completely abandoned the run. This is my dumb brain here, but what is that? Because we're on national television, we wanted to say, look at Iowa's new offense. Like, we threw a touchdown. I don't know what the play call was for.
Well, we threw more touchdowns to receivers in week 1 than we did in whatever. So we're good now. We're Mike. Look out, Mike Leach has risen, and he's the OC at Iowa. But no, and this is no I'm not trying to sit here and slash on Lester or anybody, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of wisdom in remembering, who you are and why you've won more games than the vast majority of Division I programs in the history of college football, or at least the last 15, 20 years or whatever that stat is. So,
we do have to talk about a positive, though, and we talked before we started recording a little. Caleb Johnson's a monster. Right now he's 4th in rushing in the country, and he missed an entire half of football.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's not to go back to the play selection, but to do just that. I don't know how we don't hand him the ball 45 times like we used to Mark Weissman. I think I said that to you, Coop, through text. It's like, I actually went back. I forget the year. It was 2013 year or something. One of those years that Weissman literally carried the ball 40 times against Iowa State. And it was just like, boom. Can you imagine dealing with that? I mean, the guy we were talking before we went on, I sat very close. I was like row 2 behind Iowa State's bench. And I'm not saying Caleb could play defensive end in the Big Ten, but you could line him up at defensive end and take a picture pre-snap, and he wouldn't look out of place. And I saw someone said, I saw a tweet that had the speedometer on him. He hit 22 miles an hour on that touchdown run. I mean, it's
a freak, man.
Special.
He's got the coolest running form I've ever seen. It's like his entire body is just flat, except his arms and legs. Just, I don't know. He's got incredible posture running.
He's a glider.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. But yeah, no, it was a tough game. But hey, we got to run the table. I mean, I'm going to put it out there. I think Ohio State's going to be tough.
I think this increased our chances.
Increase our chance to beat Ohio State?
Yes, this is another dumb brain moment, but
I'll hop in there and say I think it's significantly decreased our chances.
They're hungry, man. They know they got to win out.
Yeah, I know, but like their best players are like their receivers, and you saw how that went against us this year or this past game. You know what sucks though is like Castro is playing phenomenal. Like he's so fun to watch, and just one small mistake with that freaking one-on-one up the sideline. And I don't even know if that was. I just saw him running behind him. I'm assuming it was him. But I'll give Iowa State credit. Their receiving core is filthy.
Mm-hmm.
They were nice.
Yeah, they always are.
Yeah,
and Rocco is a stud.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. But I mean, like, it's just I hate to say it. I'm going to say it. After I left, it's kind of crazy how they've lost 2 times in the past. How many years? 3 years to Iowa State. They're becoming a bunch of softies.
It's all you. It was all you. You were keeping them hard, Max. You were keeping them hard.
Yep, I was. Hey, I tried, man. Tried. I mean, dude, I can tell you from when I was a freshman watching you guys as seniors to like when I was a senior watching the freshmen. Like you guys were like scary. Like I remember there was one play in practice. It was like those fights. If someone's fucked with the offense, someone always came in. There was like no fights when I was there my senior year.
I was in a lot of them.
Yes. You were like, I remember this one time where Bo Bauer just like pushed someone after the play, and you came a good 20 yards away, full steam, and just depleted him. And it was like, I remember I was sitting there like, I was just like watching. I'm like watching you run across the field, and all of a sudden you hit him. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is horrifying.
Did you ever see when I German suplex Nick Neiman?
No.
I have a video of it because I have it on.
Post it. We'll post it on the pod. You guys send it.
Oh, but I mean, we're in helmet and shoulder pads, and you got to practice with a certain tempo, and it gets monotonous, and you do the same drills every day, and you do. So, I mean, I think you do need a little bit of that piss and vinegar. You don't want it to detract from practice. It gets to a point where it's too much, and like, hey, we are practicing football here, not MMA. But that's interesting to hear. That the scuffles kind of.
Well, who did we talk to? Jeff? Who did we talk to? They said there wasn't a single fight in camp. Was that last year?
Could have been Caleb this year. Unless it was maybe 2 years in a row. I don't know. Brady, were you like the goon?
No, no, not Caleb. No, not. I think it was like literally like last year, the year before. Like there wasn't a single fight. There hasn't been a single fight.
Oh, you know what? It was Laporta 2 years ago.
Yeah, so like that was first year I was out. I'm just kidding.
What you were throwing hands when you were in practice, and then
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was the type of guy who like someone would say something, I'd slap and run away. Or I wouldn't even slap.
We know.
Or I wouldn't even slap, I just run.
we know. I was trying to hype you up though. I was trying to lie to the crowd that wasn't there.
I can't take that one. I'd feel guilty if I took that one. I mean, I don't
know. A lot changed directly after.
Yes.
I was done, and it had nothing to do with me. I'm not. Please don't think I'm saying that. But yeah, the shit kind of hit the fan. The program at the old program level. So I don't know. I wasn't there for any of that. You were.
What?
I was gone for that.
Dude, it was nuts.
Dude. We were practicing for pro day. We were practicing for pro day. Whatever. University shut down everything. We were told like, pro day ain't happening. Doyle let us into the back door of the weight room to just load up on refueling station. packed my bag full of core powers and whatever, left. It's the last time I've ever been in that facility and the last time I ever saw Chris Doyle.
That is nuts.
And very shortly thereafter, kind of, that's actually crazy to think about now that that was the last time that I was ever in that building, and everything that transpired shortly thereafter, and last time I ever saw him.
Yeah, that's nuts. It is. Yeah, it's been. Which what sucks too is like I'm not gonna blame it on like Doyle was one of a kind. Like he's a tough strength coach, but he made dudes hard. Like he knew how to get the best out of guys. Don't laugh at that, Jack. Pause. Damn it.
I didn't even know. I mean, my mind is so far out of the gutter. You guys are immature.
Put that
I
on
wasn't
a
there
t-shirt.
after. I don't know. Doyle and I, there was plenty that we didn't see eye to eye on, and at times we didn't get along very well when I was there. So but yeah, I mean, there was at his best, he certainly was just a caricature of every positive thing you've heard about him. But clearly, he had there were some downsides to that personality for sure, and some of that came to light. And I don't know what Ray and company were like after him, whether it was better, whether it was worse. Of course, humans are pattern-seeking creatures. People see someone left and something happens. I will say this: we've had success post Doyle. I mean, we've had 10-win seasons. We've had, but anyway, yeah, I don't know how we got off on that thing, but
that was a completely side tangent. Which
that was good though.
I mean, yeah, every coach there, we've never had a bad. I mean, strength coach wise, I've never had a bad coach there. Even after like when Doyle left, like Ray was great. All the interns were characters, but they were great. But yeah, I mean, they were always great staff. They knew what they're fucking doing. But I mean, I to be honest, I don't think it's that. I think it's just. I'll be honest, dude. I've said that probably 15 times. I just think it's a generation of how like kids coming into college.
God, we are getting old. You're saying shit like that. We're talking about how old we were getting before the.
Dude, think about it. I was at Summit, not this weekend, but for Tori's draft party, and I was next to a bunch of just like 18-year-olds partying. I'm like, dude, I am literally 7 years older than all of you. Like you are freshmen in college, and I'm 7 years older than you. Like that is, it's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, the generation that came in, it's the NIL generation.
But I mean, I'm not ready to say like we're soft as a team or anything like that.
No.
I mean, it's just.
Well, you know what? I shouldn't.
Right now, I mean, I would not want to take a hit from Higgins or Castro. That's for damn sure.
Well, no, and those guys are both harder than I. And I think we blocked the hell out of them up front. I mean, there were times, and I was sitting close, and this is what I'm watching. I'm watching the trench warfare during a game. There were times where frankly, it looked, and this is no disrespect to Iowa State. They're a 3-down nickel-based team that was playing with 3 backup linebackers, who looked like they might have weighed 220. This is no disrespect to them, but there were times where it looked like we were playing a high school team on some of those run plays. I mean, guys were getting mauled. We were jogging around the corner on some of those C-gap runs. It was, I mean, and that's what kills me about it. Part of what kills me about it is we have beaten far better Iowa State teams with far worse Iowa teams.
Oh yeah.
Like no doubt. And there's just a few times in that game where you look back and you almost have to just defy reality to try to for lack of a better, more articulate way of saying it, just to understand like how do we come away with no touchdowns inside the 3? And I don't put it on the players. We talked about 80. Is that Ostrenga 82?
No, I
82.
I thought he was 87.
I thought he was 87, yeah.
That's Piscuzzi.
82 looked like he got beat on that one. He was never reaching that guy. It was never going to happen. Orange. It was never going to happen. And I don't know if it was blown or whatever. I didn't see the end zone film, but that is a very difficult play to block, especially in that situation with no fullback to clean up any mess. I mean, just give your guys a chance. You got the ball 50 inches from the goal line, snap it and move forward.
Yeah.
Some things in football are more complicated than they sound. Running backwards with the football when you have 4 downs to get 50 inches, that's not. That's one of those situations where it is as simple as it sounds. That is as dumb as it sounds. Just go forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I don't know, but I don't know. And the whole thing kills me because it's kind of what people wanted, throwing it on the first and 10, up 2 scores in the second half on the plus 42 after a shank punt pick.
Yeah,
Not only throwing a throwback across the field, even having that gadget route tagged on there, even having that play call. Again, I'm not gonna keep going. I've done that enough, but I don't know. Remember who the hell you are and who the hell you aren't, and don't try to be something that you've never been in 27 years. That's my 2 cents. But what the hell do I know?
Dude, you know what sucks too is like you got to set up that throwback play. You can't just chuck it out there. And yeah, oh well. Well, hey, we move on. Tough game to move on from, but
who do we even play next?
Troy,
and then Minnesota.
I mean,
Minnesota's early in the year this year.
Realistically, we should beat Troy by 40. If we beat Illinois State by 40, we should beat Troy by 40.
DeMarcus Ware alumni.
Really? Troy?
Yeah. DeMarcus Ware.
Fire up Trojan.
Yeah. Troy. They're 0-2, I saw. I checked it out before I came on here. But yeah, it's man, the wind is out of my sails a little bit, and I'm glad those guys are a lot tougher than me and don't have time to sit around and sulk about it, because that's just Iowa State is my Super Bowl. I don't care. Yeah, I know it's like the cool thing to do the thing. Both sides are guilty of this, but especially Iowa fans are guilty of the whole like, oh, it's just another game to us. It's a Super Bowl to you. Like, it's like I've always thought of it as like the first grade kid at recess that tries to act like he's not trying as hard in the game so that he has a built-in excuse when he loses. It's so bullshit. It's bad. It's so bad. Iowa State is my Super Bowl. And it's to lose it that way sucks. It's hard for me to get too excited about the next week. But the good news is, I don't mean shit.
Fire up.
I ain't out there.
I think the last 2 games at Kinnick ended the same way, except Iowa State made their field goal and we missed ours almost at the exact same spot on the field. So
it was torrential downpour when we were kicking it.
Got soaked that game. Side note, Halloween, you gotta be PJ Fleck. I didn't even realize this. You kind of look like PJ Fleck.
Man, it's a compliment. Pretty necktie. That's a necktie compliment.
Necktie Prefontaine. You gotta say it Prefontaine pace.
I do have the
you have the sunglasses.
I do have the elite loafers too.
What?
You know that picture of him? He looked like he was at a donor or like a booster thing or whatever. He's talking. And he's got like the capris on. He's got like the shorts that go halfway between his knee and his ankle, and he's got the loafers on with. I can't believe you can't. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna find that picture.
You should. If you could take a picture of that with those sunglasses you have on, like that would be.
What sunglasses I have on?
You have the sunglasses that he has. Those freaking like the aerodynamic ones, like the baseball sunglasses. That would be fucking hilarious.
This is Halloween costume written all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, they got us last year. I was at that game.
You got us last year?
Huh?
That was the Cooper DeJean
Dude.
callback.
Fair catch.
Oh, right. Oh, gosh.
That was puke. I was sick after that.
That was the worst call I've ever seen.
You had to puke in the stands. I would have pulled Trig in the stands if I were there and just yelled at the ref to look. Just
I mean, it was people were throwing stuff on the field and like for good reason.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, yeah, technically, if you do this, you can't advance the ball. Well, he's pointing at it with one hand, and he's running with the other, and whatever. We don't have to relive it. It's one of those things where if you really had a gun to your head and you had to argue that it was the right call, you could make a bad. It'd be a bad argument, but you could make a semi-coherent argument that, yeah, I mean, he made that motion with his whatever. But that's just a situation where as a ref, you're really trying to be important. I mean, if you make that call, like, what are you doing? Minnesota was trying to tackle him. So, okay, so what? Was it a 15-yard penalty then? Because if the play was dead and they're diving at him, hitting him, that's a 15-yard penalty. Anyway, I'll stop. I could
to go to the monitor to see if he was out of bounds and then come back with that. That was insane call.
It was fucked.
It was brutal. I'm gonna see him Monday night live, Philly, Atlanta. So he's gonna have a
Philly,
touchdown.
Atlanta.
Yep, Monday Night Football.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't watched. I watched one NFL game last year, and it was. Well, that's not true. I watched the Thanksgivings and the Christmases and stuff like that. But
you ever thought about making a comeback?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm probably a better athlete now than I was at Iowa, which isn't saying much because I was a fat tub at Iowa. I was essentially a third guard. But no,
Hey, YOLO, you can do it. Have you thought about coaching at all? In high school?
Dave, the place I'm at is really trying to get me to do it. I helped out with camp a couple years ago or last year.
That's when you should dress up as Fleck.
I don't want to do because I couldn't commit to it. I can't be there every week. So I don't know, but I do, for a couple of years, I did radio, for
I could see
my alma mater, color commentary. And I'm doing like every once in a while, I'm doing that, 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever.
You should try and do it with Dolph. I mean, you can do his impression.
They didn't want me. They wanted Pat, which I don't know. I listened to the first. I listened to the first week.
Give me the Iowa Hawkeyes.
The voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
That is good, dude. That is so good. That'd have been hilarious if you just imitated him the whole time you were with him. You said two Dolphs.
Oh, his voice is awesome.
I have done my Dolph impression to him.
Did he like it?
Yeah, he did. He loved it.
Good.
Did you try out for that play-by-play?
I don't think there were any tryouts.
Oh.
Pat was a no-brainer for him to hire because it's Pat Anger. The guy was a consensus All-American that, was notorious for being a colorful personality. I don't know if you've seen that picture of him in the warm-up lines flipping off the ESPN camera. Like that's what Pat was. Like, he's an edgy guy. He has been, at least in week one, he has been the opposite of that as a color guy, which you can't. I mean, you're employed by Learfield or whatever. You got to, obviously, it's not Barstool. Okay. But he was very subdued. I think he's so far just trying not to get in trouble. I think he'll settle in and do a good job once he gets a little bit more comfortable doing it. But yeah, Pat was, I think it was always going to be Pat.
So another one too, the Low Man Trophy, when you were nominated every year for that. How does that work? Do they just say it
Was
on,
that?
on
Oh, that was the Barstool thing.
Yeah.
Well, I got the one Barstool thing the one week, the football guy of the week.
What did you win it for?
I don't even remember, but
You probably.
I remember that trophy. That trophy was. I mean, it was a complete joke because I remember the one year it came out, the nominees were announced, and I was one of like 12 nominees or whatever, and like 3 of the nominees weren't even fullbacks. 1 or 2 of them like had retired from football the prior year, like they didn't even play that year. So it was a joke. I think the Wisconsin guys won it.
Chanel, yeah.
My senior,
Yeah.
and those guys they were studs, and they played like 55 snaps a game.
Yeah, they're beasts.
Talk about 180 schematically. Aren't they running air raid now?
Dude, you beat an impressive lineup. You won after scoring your first career touchdown. Your quote was, "Getting the end zone is cool. Frankly, I'm more proud of some of the blocks I made."
Oh, yeah.
But you beat out Will Muschamp, Don Martindale, and Andy Reid.
What did Andy do?
Andy, post-game speech after the win at Detroit. Not all Mozart's paintings were perfect.
Wow, what a crazy. But my quote too, though. Like, I'm not just dumping on Andy's. Like, how is that? I don't know. I'm not a Barstool.
You got a good quote there.
That's a solid quote. That's a good senior yearbook quote. I should have used that.
Yeah, it's late.
Yeah. That was a shitty joke. Damn it. All right.
Man, that's awesome.
Oh, what? We got Troy.
We got Troy. What do you think? They're gonna let Kate sling it now?
We should win it. But these are the games that I was always the most nervous for, because it's like there's no upside at all. And typically, I don't know how good Troy is. I know they're 0-2, and I don't know if they played to get paid $1 million to come get your ass kicked teams or what. I don't know. But usually we would schedule like the reigning MAC champion every year. Coop, am I crazy? Like we'd play like Northern Illinois the year after they go 10-2 and return 22 starters, and North Dakota State, and
it's always one of the Dakotas, Illinois State.
It's like if you're gonna schedule somebody like that, if you're gonna buy a win. Otherwise, just play an actual team that you might gain something from beating. But that was back when we had Gary Barta, which I don't know.
So they played
hole in the wall. So
they played. They lost to Nevada by 2, who isn't a horrible football team. And then kind of got their ass kicked by Memphis, who also is not that bad of a team.
We should.
Who was a special teams guy who transferred there 2 years ago?
Jaden McDonald?
No.
Who,
from
Nevada?
Iowa. He was a gunner. To Troy.
Oh, I was gonna say James Butler went to Nevada.
Reggie Bracey.
That's right.
I never knew him.
Yeah, you were gone.
The only guys there that I knew are now Kyler Fisher, Sebastian Castro, and I think that's it.
Yeah, dude, talk about someone who just kind of came, kept his head down, didn't say a fucking word.
Quinn Schulte.
And Quinn.
Quinn was there too. But who were you saying?
Like, talk about someone who just did not. I mean, I guess you could say all 3 of those dudes, but like someone who just kept his head down, didn't say a word, and just worked in silence. Fisher.
Oh yeah.
Dude was like, he's a stud. It's always, I mean, same with Castro though. Like, Castro didn't talk shit. He just played. Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Quinn didn't talk shit either, but I used to talk so much shit to Quinn.
Quinn, and I mean this in the most. I was actually talking to Bryce about this. couple years ago, the Iowa State game. Quinn's going to be a 3-year starter, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean this this is the biggest compliment I could give Quinn. Not surprised at all about Castro, his success. I mean, Castro showed up ready to take some heads off right away.
Yeah.
If you would have told me when Quinn was a freshman on a, riding like from the Marriott to the facility for
Yes.
camp, like if you would have told me like, yeah, Quinn's going to be a team captain, 3-year starter, absolute dog at safety, I don't know if I would have bought it. I don't, and I mean that. Like, that is seriously the biggest compliment I can, because it proves the point that you were just mentioning about keeping his head down and just get a little bit better, do the right stuff, get a little bit better, get a little bit bigger, stronger, know the book, like.
I mean, they all really just followed the whole path of just trusting the process, literally just trusting it.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that was a walk-on that, I don't know, it probably didn't even have any big D2 offers. Yeah. And, just to see what he's done has been, I mean, that's insane. That's insane. That's awesome.
Also, fuck Quinn. I played him in fantasy football this week, and he beat me 88.98 to 88.96. So that's pretty absurd. But yeah, he's a beast. He's a stud.
He made some big plays on Saturday.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the deep, they were humming. Just a couple mistakes. It was like literally you could count the mistakes in their hand. Whereas a fucking offense, you could write a book about it. Okay, whatever. We're done next week.
We gotta get Lachey the ball.
Yeah,
you got a Heisman.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Tight end.
We fired Brian, so now we throw it to the receivers.
Dude,
we were tired of. We made fun of us for throwing it to tight ends all this time. Again, can you remember who you were before the world told you should be otherwise? Like, we don't do that anymore. Tight ends block now at Iowa.
We are Iowa football. We just threw the ball inside the 5-yard line, didn't get the ball to our tight ends, and still came away with 99 pass yards.
Inside the 3. I'm going to amend that. It wasn't inside the 5. It was inside the 3.
Look, I'm a Bears fan. I've watched the same team 2 days in a row my entire life. Thought it'd be different this year. Both quarterbacks, Cade and Caleb, had 29 pass attempts each, and both threw for under 100 yards. It is miserable.
But the Bears have Torrey Taylor, so they got the W.
That's right.
No joke. If we have Torrey, we win that game.
Oh,
no disrespect to this guy. I'm sure this guy's gonna be incredible. Reese, he's gonna be awesome.
And that really was his worst punt of the day.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
he'll be good. It was just that was a tough second game, and if we pin him there, it's over.
Oh,
so many things had to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I did. So another big pro, love Weegan. Caden Weegan's a stud. Exciting fucking returner. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Buttons me up. Last thing I'll say also, I might have just forgot. I know I got it. I'm not calling for Cade's head. He played solid in the first game. I do want to see this backup play. If we're going to change our offense into just not running what Iowa's ever ran, you might as well just chuck a dual threat back there and see what happens.
I mean, I don't know if because we did say, like I said, I think at the start, I forget what we talked about off air and on air, but historically, yes, they put the guy in there who they think is the best. I don't know if the NIL thing changes that. Because if you are paying a guy $1 million a year and you have to justify to the donors or whoever that he's not even in there, I don't know. It's sunk cost fallacy and it's stupid. You should play the best guy. But you see that in the NFL. You see that in the NFL all the time. Guys are playing that, should not be.
Yeah.
Because they got paid.
Danny Dimes.
One that sticks out, for some reason to me, because I don't follow the NFL super closely, Cowboys a couple years ago, Ezekiel Elliott, Pollard was very clearly better than him.
Yeah.
Pollard was making like $500,000 a year, and Zeke just signed a $90 million contract, and Zeke was getting like 65% of the carry. Like they were shoot. So I don't know. It's a thing in the NFL. So I don't know how that NIL thing changed. I mean, it's just so different now. I don't know.
Soft.
Well, and he's the guy that can do it. He has done it. Cade, he did it to us. What?
Has he?
I don't know. I mean, he won a Big Ten title, and
he did not win a Big Ten title. JJ did.
Oh, really? He wasn't the starter the first time?
I think he got hurt.
But he started, but JJ was in for the 2 touchdown passes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I don't remember. But
JJ ran the trick play on, and then the second one, the running back threw the touchdown.
I don't know. I do think he's like 18-5 as a starter. I think I heard someone say. Granted, we haven't exactly had a rogues gallery of a difficult schedule the last couple of years, and I think this year is no exception.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, other than Ohio
which kind of makes it hurt even more, because now, especially with the new Big Ten, you gotta strike while the iron's hot when you get a schedule like this, because
dude,
there are gonna be years where you're going
talking about
LA
that.
and
And me and Cooper talking about that before we even hopped on here, is the fact that Higgins, Castro, Nick Jackson, Schulte, they all came back this year. That makes it hurt even more, because they're all very experienced veterans. We're going to have a top defense in the country. We just had to escape with a win. And it looks like we might be able to get to 11-1, but for them to come back and lose to Iowa State, that stinks, because who knows if we'll have this level of defense year in, year out.
Sometimes life, the old adage, life is unfair. That's usually true, but Saturday life was very fair for the Hawks.
Yeah.
We got exactly what we deserved. And don't get me wrong, wish we would have got out of there with a win, but in some sick, twisted way, I'm kind of happy we didn't, because you get the ball inside the 3 on first down twice and get 0 touchdowns. You don't. I don't care. I don't care if you're playing the Nazis. Like, you don't deserve. Like, it's. You have 4 downs to score inside the 3. Fullback. I realize the guy we list on the depth chart as a fullback, who's 6'5", was in the game, but he was lined up at tight end because that's what he actually is. No fullback in the game. Refused to run the quarterback sneak, which is literally cheating. Guaranteed touchdown, and we get 0 touchdowns. And I don't care who you're playing. You don't deserve to win if you do that.
Damn right.
So that's awesome. We've had a World War II reference every week on the pod. I love it. Keep it rolling.
Oh gosh. Well, we basically just had 50 minutes of talking about somehow always relating back to Iowa just not scoring on the 3. And I love
not
it.
Doing what?
I said we basically just had 50 minutes of just like going on tangents, and then as soon as we're done with the tangents, we go right back to how the fuck do you not score on the 3-yard line?
And if you can't do it, you shouldn't win. That's fine.
It's
you lost.
It's true.
You should see them dance off the field with the Cyhawk. That is just what you should get.
They should flip on that video of, we're going to bring the hammer, break the rock.
Yeah.
Just let them listen to it the whole season. Because it's like, fucking hey, dude, that didn't motivate you guys. Let's see if it can motivate you for some other games. Holy shit.
That video is elite.
It's so elite. I love that video.
How hilarious was it that they thought that was going to, like, make us play harder or something?
Dude, apparently No, 2 years ago they didn't play. They wouldn't play the cyclone weather alert. The weight room.
Which look good. Like that's not. That's one of those things where we lost, so we didn't do this thing we used to do when we won. Like that's causation, correlation, conflation. Like that's not making anybody better. It's not making you play harder. Anyway, it's just goofy stuff. I don't know, but
I do love that video.
it was hilarious.
That guy's hilarious.
Now that maybe here's my take. If you want to use that as a motivator, you play that in like a Tuesday team meeting or something.
Yeah.
Not perpetually on a loop in the locker room.
Yeah, that was brutal. It was literally just like you're being tortured.
It takes away from the like what you're trying to do. Because on the first 30 minutes or whatever, 10 minutes of it, it's like, oh, look at that guy, like let's go. After that, it's like Jesus. Like,
you get that Thursday, turn this fucking video off, dude. Yeah. Horrible. Great, hilarious video though.
Didn't we do something like that for against Minnesota too?
No, I just remember when Campos was on the team and his brother was on Iowa State, and they made Campos leave the facility.
I forgot about that.
And they literally was like, "Yeah, just don't come back until next week."
Oh no.
That was so funny. The poor dude's like, "What am I gonna do?" And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, come back next week."
Kicked him off the team. Took his black card. Took his key card.
Matter of fact, we're just gonna move your locker for this week too.
That actually is a funny story that I forgot.
Hilarious. I forgot the backstory because his brother's on the team. His
brother was a dog. His brother was a stud at Iowa State.
Yeah, and were they scared that he was gonna like tell him our plays or something?
I mean, I think it was like a. All due respect to Campos, I think it was like a. This kid's never gonna play at Iowa. Clearly, it was one of those situations where it's like he was on the team but never gonna see between the lines on Saturday. So it's like, how bought in is he really as a Hawkeye? And his brother's like the best player on Iowa State. And what do we gain from having him here? And we like, so there was a slight chance that there's the off chance that he said something. Yeah. I mean, it's.
Hey, I'll respect to Campos. Dude, man, he's on the team, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was hilarious.
Did he make it all the way through?
I don't know. I'm not gonna say no because I don't remember him at the end of it, but like he very well could have, and I just may not have realized it.
He just never came back after an Iowa State week.
Yeah,
I want to say he didn't last all.
I don't think
after that
a year or two, and it was out.
I think it was kind of also like a subtle. Hey, could you please leave so we could free up a roster spot type thing? I don't know. All due respect to the guy. He was a Hawk, but that was hilarious. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, it was so funny. That was good. That was good stuff. They should have done it to someone on the team this year, even if they didn't even know anyone in Iowa State. They should
every year there's just one freshman that gets kicked off the team for no reason.
They just kicked someone off for a week. That would be hilarious. Oh, it's great.
Hey, I know this. We're undefeated when we kick someone off the team.
Yeah, that is true. We need to start doing that more.
Ain't broke, don't fix it.
We should start doing that every week.
Yeah.
Some random person off the team.
And never let them back. And by the end of the year, we just have we'd still have a lot. But
yeah, well, maybe
speaking of not making it all the way through, my class had to be the worst or one of the worst as far as like how many guys actually made it through.
How many guys came in? How many guys made it through?
I'd have to go back and look, but like I know for linebackers, there were 6 of us that came in. Me and Hockaday were the only ones that made it. And And I think me and Hockaday were the only ones that made it like 2 years. We had Nick Wilson, Garbett, Justin Jennings.
See, these names, I have no idea who these people are.
See, and you were what? 1 year after me or 2?
I came in 2017.
Because you were 2 years after me.
Yeah.
And you didn't know any of them. So my point proven is like these guys came in on scholarship, and you don't know who they are. That's how long they lasted.
Who was the dude that was like his girlfriend was back, and like he couldn't be away from his girlfriend, just quit? I forgot who it was. But like they said, it might have been a receiver, and I don't want. Like, I hate just checking these names out there. I'm not gonna throw a name out there.
I don't know. I think I might have a guess.
But there was apparently
but
some
I'm
dude
probably wrong.
Was on the team for like 6 months, but like missed his girlfriend too much and just quit and moved back home. And he's like on scholarship. Like, what the fuck, dude?
We had some, and I don't know. We had some coaches on staff that were not on staff for very long, and for good reason. Like we had a couple guys that, and I think in recruiting was not their thing. And I think a lot of these guys were their guys in recruiting. But we had a guy. I was on my official visit, and they have the scholarship visit for you guys, guys that they actually want. And then the next weekend they have the walk-on visit where like lowly sad sacks like me go. And I'm on this walk-on official visit with a guy. I'm not going to name him. On the recording that played the position that I was coming in at. And he hadn't been offered yet. I think he had just been offered by like Northern Illinois or whatever. And it took me, shit you not, 15 seconds of spending time with this kid. And I'm like, wherever he ends up, it ain't gonna work. Like if he goes to Northern Illinois or if he whatever walks on, like it's not gonna work and it's not gonna last long at all. The next morning, pull up Twitter. This guy, happy to announce I've been offered by the University of Iowa a scholarship to play football, and I'm committing to the University of Iowa. Same guy that took me 15 seconds to know, like, no, not going to work. Fast forward, we show up as freshmen. He's late to the first day. He's late to the first lift. I think he's late to like 17 meetings that year, whatever. Ends up not getting invited to his second camp as a scholarship player. He gets an O-dub during camp, gets kicked off the team. So that's just one example of how bad we were at finding guys to offer scholarships to around that time in 2015. And that's a good reason why I think not very many of us made it through. But I was a beneficiary of it eventually. Wish they would have.
Fire up. They'll play.
I mean, I could not believe it. Like, it's just kind of crazy to think back and think, like, really? Who sat across from that guy and thought, you know what? Scholarship.
You know what's nuts? Every receiver I came in with stayed.
Really?
Me, Mir, Brandon, Henry Marquez, and is there anyone else? I think that was it. But we all.
That's actually wild because like that's a position that I'm sure is by far the biggest attrition rate at Iowa anyway.
The turnover rate was dude, like I remember when after I graduated, like Chuck went, Tyrone went, Arlen Bruce went, Keegan Johnson went. And it was like all four of our starters gone, like instantly. It was
Chuck went and almost won the Bolitnikoff.
Yeah, dude, it was and then the kid last year, Jacob Bostic, dude didn't even like play that much and gets a full ride to A&M. And now he's on A&M's team. It's like, what? Tough.
Yeah.
Tough time. Well, hey, I mean, we've kept you on for a long time. Longer
All right.
We'll let you go. Forrest, you got anything else?
No, a pleasure, Brady. Always.
Always
See
a
you, fellas.
pleasure.